Hi, you're face to face with Shell, and I hope everyone's doing okay out there. Today I'm going to talk to you about online forums. Now, I use ones for obviously burn warriors and for MS warriors recently, obviously from a relatively new diagnosis of primary progressive MS. For the burn warriors one, it's more, I'm not looking for advice, I'm there to give advice to other warriors who may be at the start of their journey and need a bit of help. There's always something to learn though, because obviously from when I was burned way back in 1984, there's so much has changed, so there's always something to learn. So I do go on and pick up bits that people are talking about, that maybe procedures that I don't know about. Anyway, a week or so passed. There was a woman who, she didn't have the big thick scarring that I had when I was first burned, or when my burns, the scarring was healing and it overhealed, and especially my face and one bit of my arm was really quite thick. Anyway, but it was sort of patches of redness all over her face, and what she was asking was, when was the best time to start using makeup? Now, she was only months burned, I would say at the very most 9 months, and people were given all sorts of advice, and mostly people were saying, well, obviously make sure that your face is completely healed, and be careful what you're using, because obviously the skin is very sensitive. There was one, now it was an anonymous user, so I can't say if the person was male or female, but I'm thinking the way it was written, it did look as if it was coming from a female. Anyway, she was given this huge process to go through, and the first thing she said was exfoliate your skin. I'm like, I would never ever say to someone whose skin is newly healed to start exfoliating. I was like, oh, no. You have to decide for yourself, of course, but it certainly wouldn't be anything that I would say to someone to do. But the bit I commented on, she said, you want to take a thick foundation. And I had replied saying, well, thick foundations or a thick layer of foundation can make your scars look worse. And they did for me. It took me years to find out a foundation which did work for me, which is the Estee Lauder one, and the one that I have on my website that I would recommend. And this woman really took quite an aggressive approach back to me, saying that the post was not about me, and just because I wear thick foundation, basically, how dare I say this? And so I just put back saying, don't have a go. I'm actually giving advice because I had done my foundation wrong, and it took me years to find out one that actually worked for me. And basically, is this not what forums are for? So people can share information. And the only reason I was saying it was so that this woman didn't make the same mistake that I made. And do you know, if somebody had said that to me, I'd be like, oh, right, great, that's a good thing to look out for. Because actually, when I was having an outpatient appointment years ago at the hospital I attended for my burn injury, well, getting skin grafts after it, sorry, there was a doctor looking through my medical files, which were massive, but the latest volume, and he said he was looking at a past photograph, which was quite a few years before, when I was probably a late teenager, and by this point I was maybe in my late 20s, and he said, you know what, he says, you look younger now than you did then. And it was when I was wearing the really thick makeup. So I was like, yeah. So these forums can be really good, but it's just, you have to watch this. Everyone is giving their opinion, and you have to pick what's right for you. Now, I know I've done quite a big series on camouflage makeup, and yes, there's loads of steps on that, but I was just showing you all the different steps that you can do if you want to. But what I was more saying, I was showing you all the steps so you can pick and choose which ones that actually work for you. And I certainly don't do every single step, but I wanted to show you what was out there. Actually, in fact, I don't wear my full makeup. I'm sure I've mentioned this before anymore. When it's special occasions, I'll put my foundation on, and I still really feel good wearing it, but I don't wear it every single day. I just don't feel the need to. And the MS forums, I go on obviously for advice, but I watch what I'm doing. I don't stay too long on them because MS has such a massive variety of symptoms, and I think you can kind of get sort of bogged down with all the different symptoms that may happen, but these may never happen. So it's trying to find a balance of getting help, but not getting really sucked right into it where you're actually feeling a bit anxious about, oh no, what if I get that? And if I find myself being like that, I come off it. The same with if you're on a Burn Warrior forum and you think, oh no, come off it. If you find yourself getting a bit anxious, or if you are anxious, ask. This is what I'm getting a bit anxious about, blah, blah, blah. And ask people. But for the MS one, there is so many symptoms, and as Chris says to me, deal with what's happening today, not what might happen in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and a massive shout out to my subscribers. And if you haven't already, it'd be great if you could subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. Also, it'd be great if you could give me a like, a thumbs up, and a share. Remember, I do have a website. I'll leave a link in the description. You can head over there. You will find lots more information, photographs, help, and advice. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay strong, and we'll chat soon. Bye.